Good news, chat. Unexpected to us, like I guess a week ago. The Breath of Fire 4 PC port from 2003, was European only, is now functional on modern systems and available through GOG for $10. Oh, welcome. So let me get this stream shared and then we'll talk a bit about it. Just need to get back to the thing, get a link. Very nice. There was a list of games that GOG keeps as like a dream list of games voted on by people. Breath of Fire 4 was up there for a while. To my understanding, I'll have to look at the list. I believe RE2 and RE3 have also been brought in because of these polls. And it has to be games that do have PC ports, but PC ports that are pretty much abandoned and not available in any other way. It's preservation. Yeah, GOG preservation lists. And make sure it's compatible with future Windows. Gonna be used with Steam. Does it support controllers? It does support controllers. It supports controllers and hot plugging. As you can see, the icons don't change. You won't get the buttons. And we'll talk about that in a sec. You could use Steam through adding a non-Steam game. You could do that. Otherwise, it's not available on Steam because the idea is it doesn't have DRM. So it's not on Steam. That would be more up to Capcom. It's only on GOG because GOG themselves are the reason it's compatible and functional right now. But it is not. This is also not a remaster. This is not a remaster. This is not a HD version of any sort. It's the PC version from back then, just functional and starts up without any extra whistles to it. Nothing extra to you. It just works. Granted, I think there's another caveat to it that we'll talk about in a moment. Just let me get this tweet out here. Yeah, it's only $10. Which is, it's only $10 because it's not a remaster, you know? That's to make it clear. Right? I forget how to post. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I figured you can hear the keyboard. That's alright. At least that lets you know what I'm doing. Yeah, let's talk about that. So, the PC version is straight up the original PC version. There haven't really been too many refinements. A lot of things we're gonna notice about it are things that were issues with it in the beginning, back in 2003. What it has though is it just boots up. That's the caveat to it. Or that's its biggest thing, is that it will stay compatible with Windows in the future, so it is preserved in that manner. I didn't do Oblivion because I don't think I'm the best person to cover Oblivion. I wasn't as up for it, and my time is already divided among a half dozen games that I'm not finding time to play anyway. But yeah, I don't think I'm the best fit for talking about Oblivion. The more I thought about it. That being said, a lot of what I'm going to be talking about today with Breath of Fire 4 is a ton of information through Dragnir. If anyone wants to know how to make the game look sharp, it's the first link in the description right now. That's the setup guide to it, and you scroll down to setup guide. Forcing point sampling for sharp pixels. You should scroll down to that, it'll show you how to do it. You're essentially replacing the game's DX wrapper with a separate third-party DX wrapper. One that will have the proper point filtering options and get rid of the bilinear filter that the game comes with. Because yeah, this, let me show it here and show those scenes I'm going to compare. So we're going to talk about how the PC port looks straight out the gate, so that we don't have to worry about talking about it later. So let me bring these two in sync here. So by default, the PC version, and this is how it was in 2003 to my understanding, it had bilinear filtering. And we will see there's unintentional seams and lines through textures in the environment, and the sprites are blurry as fuck. They all have a really faint outline that they are clearly not supposed to have. So you need to get a point filter going on, which is, yeah, that's how to do that right now is in the description, and hopefully, like in a future update, like they provide that. I can see why considering it, because there's some aspects where maybe a bilinear filter helps. Bilinear is blurring. It's about I think that would be the best way. It's a way of filtering textures to be blurry, under the idea that if they're too sharp, it's distracting, kinda. You've been able to see it with the sand here on the ground, kind of the idea of it. Hopefully you can see it through the bitrate stream. The other Breath of Fire games, no, I will at some point, but not anytime soon. PC, I've heard the audio quality is fine, though I have you're hearing the PC version's audio right now, obviously. The one thing I read that it's missing is there's a little bit of reverb on PS1. Otherwise, like, sound-wise, I'm pretty sure it's the same, it just doesn't have the reverb. We'll take a listen later, but yeah, I just needed to get it out of the way as to why we're looking at this here. The textures look much better with the bilinear filter. The problem is that the 2D characters got messed up in the process. Yeah, and then there's a bigger catch with even the textures. There's a catch to that with the bilinear filter. We'll look at it in a moment. But yeah, there are aspects of objects that do benefit from it. PC version higher res. I would consider it because of the text. Yeah. But it does, I mean, when we look at the PS1 footage, it's gonna look really similar to the right, except with dithering over it. The PS1 version has a dithering filter you're not gonna get rid of. So I see what they're going for. Let me just catch that up a little. So there's I think we'll see it here. There is when I can talk about ground textures. I have another better example than right here to show it off. My cursor's on screen. So with bilinear, I can see where it benefits in some of the backgrounds, because in some of these where's my cursor? Some of these pixel details are intended to blend. You're too close to see the intended blended oh, there it is. You're not intended to see this detail up close because you need it to blend in better to form what you're actually looking at. You don't always need that, but It's point by point. On DuckStation, no, because I have real hardware, which is already the real hardware is just as sharp. If you have SCART. So we don't need DuckStation here. I don't need to show you DuckStation. We're fine. Where's the blurry filter? But yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about is what we do with it, because the right is still the PC version. You can get rid of it. One sample here of what I'm talking about with the bilinear textures is this seam on the ground. Scenes and patterns you can see that you were not intended to see. There's a little seam right there. You can't see that at all with the intended texture look. This is an inaccuracy. This is incorrect. This was not intended for you to be seen by the developers. And as we can see when it pixels, you see it. You could upscale with DuckStation, but that is also emulation, and I'm trying to give you something accurate to what you would play on real hardware, in both cases. In both ways, if you went out and bought a disc and what you're going to do with it is use real hardware, I think it would be more beneficial to show you that, as not everyone is going to immediately jump to wanting to do emulation, especially with a PC port that just works. But anyway, let me show you the second sample area now. So, I'm going to show off, let's see, where is it? Okay. So I'm going to show up this area to get a better understanding of why the bilinear textures are frustrating and give off an image quality that's simply not intended. We'll be looking at the ground here. Like this, I can see the benefit of. I see what the bilinear filterings do. I can see why the choice, or why they went with it. It shouldn't be the only choice, but right now it is. Anyway, it's easier to see, again, lines on the ground that look like seams that are not supposed to be visible. With all these cuts in between. Now, that one's geometry, so that one is still there. The one, like, in the middle here. Or even here to the right. These seams do not stand out because of it is the correct texture filtering that it was using. With the N64, this is a common problem with N64 emulation, where people do not apply the right texture filtering. The N64 uses 3-point filtering. Nintendo themselves have not done this correctly. If you boot up Mario Kart on NSO, it's set wrong. However, that's probably a performance reason, unfortunately. It is done like that because of performance. So, whoops. Bravely Default Remaster, I would like to, but I have a whole list of games I now need to, like, get started on. I've started writing the script for, Dragon Quest III, so I have way too much to cover but for a stream, yeah, there'll probably be a stream. If I'm given a code for it, we'll get a stream of it. So, how do you achieve the results on the right? Let's skip forward to... Oh no, I got interrupted there. But yeah, let me, keep going here. So how do we achieve those results on the right? I linked it in the description at dragnear.net. This is an incredible website, and I'm going to be referencing it a lot today. On there, they give you as I said in the beginning of the stream, right on there is a guide, and you go down to forcing point sampling for sharp pixels. And that is how you achieve the results on the right. And so these details become far less distracting. Even if there are definitely some aspects... I turned it up a little so it's not completely quiet. Oh, that's the right side audio. I was gonna say, it's really quiet on the left. I was like, that's not the audio for that. That's wrong if that's it. No, it's fine. So, thanks to dragdeer.net, they give you a good example of, or they give you the settings needed, and hopefully in the future, GOG just updates the game, because this thing does need a few updates, and I think we're good here now to swap over to the PS1 version, see what's going on over there. So, get that out of here and worry about having these two windows. So now it's PS1 and PC version with the point filtering enabled. So as I was saying, it is the PC version straight out. It is not a remaster. It is not being touted as a remaster, but it is a version of the game that is preserved and will boot up on modern Windows just fine. Out the gate, it will boot up. But it does not have, it's missing a few things. First off was what I was reading about audio, in that the music, I'm pretty sure, is the same, but the PS1 is supposed to have has reverb applied to it. The PC version does not have the reverb. That's PS1. That's PC. It's PS1. It sounds accurate to me, man. This isn't a Square game. This is Capcom. Interestingly enough, this is Capcom's JRPG series. Before Battle Network and the like from there and that team. So, we could see Breath of Fire 3 in the future. That has a Windows version as well, to my knowledge. And 1 and 2 are older than that. 1 and 2 are available on NSO, for example, I'm pretty sure. They published Breath of Fire 1 on SNES in the US. That's funny. Let me turn that down a bit. So this is PS1 audio. With Square and Bravely Default. Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see. Is it coming out the first day of Switch 2, June 5th? I'm now going to swap over to the PC audio. So we're gonna go quiet and then... I had the audio turned down and I have to be careful with turning it up in VLC Player. When you're turning it past 100% in VLC Player, it takes like a second before it actually turns up. Point filter added by GOG, or the game already had it? It did not have it. You have to use a third-party DX wrapper to get the point filter. The GOG version, as of right now, like on the release of it, does not have the point filter. So you have to use a third-party app, and the instructions on how to do that are in the first link in the description for setup. On how to do that. And that's the point of... GOG has preserved the game, but they have not done much in terms of refinement outside of being functional. So yeah, we do need things like the point filter should be an option right away. The button icons would be nice because it does have an absurd amount of controller support for modern controllers. I'm pretty sure you plug a DualSense, it's going to start right up. And it supports hot plugging as well, so you don't have to like close the game. It has borderless window. It's borderless window just fine. No problems with borderless window. So it's got those modern amenities, but we do have things like we're missing or rather, yeah, point filter would be a nice option, at least as an option, you know? And then the controller icons, I think, have been distracting people. I was already playing the game on PS1, so I haven't really noticed, I hardly noticed the button issue with the button icons, because I was already used to the PS1 controls. Though there is a point where you're doing a minigame. The minigame has 2 reversed buttons from the PS1 version. That was kind of distracting, but that's about all I noticed from there, at least. So here's hoping that we just get some updates. These are the where you know, where they should go from here. Audio looping, actually, that's another thing. Is I have read in the GOG version. Well, this is because it's a. When I'm talking about these bugs, I'm going to be talking about bugs from the original 2003 release that have not been touched up. There are crashes that were fixed. GOG did fix the known bugs that could crash the game. They did do that. There are. I do not know if they have fixed the music looping. Actually, if the music sounds fine, you know, it was written about this PC port before GOG. So some of the information about the PC port predates it being on GOG, such as the music reverb, I'm pretty sure, and also the music not looping. I don't know if that's there yet, but the music sounds fine to me, right? So, the looping may not be an issue either. Does the GOG preservation list work on quality of life? I'm not sure. Stability is definitely the priority. It would just be nice for them to handle it going forward. Otherwise, we'll be, you know, be counting on mod support for a time. Hello, Jesus, welcome. Yeah, the Legends games would be great. I'd be all over those the moment they're out. Which, Capcom was offering codes for this game, but then they were out of office for the weekend, so it was like, man, fuck it, it's $10. I want to show the game off this weekend. So, they might give me a code later, I don't know. For right now, I just bought it anyway, $10, so. Any other I do have a list of features of what they did do, because it's not all negative. As I was saying, there are, what is it? Crashes have been taken care of. I'm reading this list off of Dragnir.net, rather than a GOG release. Dragnir.net, if you want to read anything about this PC port, this is a fantastic website. So, I mean, I'm still pulling the same bulletproof list, bullet point list from there. So, full compatibility of Windows 10 and 11, 2 localizations being the English and Japanese. The original English localization, back on PS1, did remove some scenes that were just, like, silly. Things close to, they would have removed this if they could, probably. He's just straight naked. But they're pretty, you know, they're pretty bad. They're not terrible, but I could see why they removed them. However, some of it's just, silly. But anyway, 3D models look okay, but this could, same quality achieve via upscaled emulation. It would be more work, because not only would you need to do the upscaled emulation, you would need to do the, perspective fixing on textures. With the native PC port, you're not worried about, perspective warping on textures. So there's, you know, some extra steps with setting it up on, PS1. Can't use the same fonts. Yeah, originally on PS1 and the original 2003 PC port did not use the same font, so it is just keeping the same font. To be fair, that left screen, or they're made for different screens. PC support widescreen or 4:3. It's still 4:3. It's at the aspect ratio options available in the PC version are a native scale that would be the same, not 4:3, but a little bit squished that the PS1 would produce. There's the corrected 4:3, which would ideally be what you're supposed to use, is this corrected 4:3 aspect ratio. And then there's 16:9, and then there's stretching it. All the options stretch it out. So if you set it to be, if I set it to the resolution of my monitor, it's just going to stretch it the whole ultra-wide way. So But it does handle switching the options just fine. It has very good borderless window support, and you could just set it. I show the options in the beginning here. Let me go to those. The options I have, and the options in the original on the left. Oh, I did notice an audio, actually there was an audio bug right in the beginning, and I did set I set the audio to mono right away. There was, in the opening cutscene, there was audio that was playing in one ear and not the other ear, and then in the middle of those sounds, it was swapping to the other ear for a quick second and then back. That was really annoying. So I'm playing at 1440 by 1080. That is a resolution I would also recommend, also for the sake of the text clarity. I think if you use one of the lower 4:3 resolutions, the text looked incorrectly scaled. So I would, you know, it's the easiest just to get the results is the highest 4:3 aspect ratio available to you. So we'll go back to where we were. Were we here? No, we were past that. We got a good ways in. Yeah, we're here. Missing content from the Japanese version back? No. Actually, that's interesting because the Japanese... Actually, I don't know, because the Japanese localization is there. I'll have to read more on this website, actually. As on Dragnir.net, they specified 2 localizations, English and Japanese. They didn't say 2 languages, English and Japanese. I don't know if it's there. I will hopefully read here and find out. And turn it up a bit more. What am I doing on the left? Oh, I'm already in, okay. The music is lower quality and the looping issues. I'm not... If chat hears it, they'll hear it. I'm not sure I hear it. I'll compare the battle... Actually, hold on, I have links to battles. So let me do... let me unmute it. PS1. Let's start with PS1 sample. Now keep in mind, I did set the PC version to mono because of an audio bug already. The sound effects are just too loud. Now that I'm comparing them next to each other, the sound effects are just too loud by default on the PC version. So that makes it more frustrating to get to that same volume. Which there are individual audio sliders. As we saw back in the options, you can turn down the sound effects compared to the music. That is an option. Here, let me go back to the beginning. Hey, it's still stereo. Does it only do the... Ah, whatever. Okay, now back to PS1 so we can hear a less interrupted sample. Okay, it is missing the reverb. So there's that reverb, and then there's also... Yeah, I had read about music looping issues. So, I will leave the audio of the PS1 version going. Here, let me get into this cutscene. I made a... To make sure this was easy, I did the same thing I did last time, where I set a bunch of bookmarks and timestamps throughout both videos, so that I could just skip to where they are and have less audio interruptions because of me scrubbing the timelines. Yeah, so music is a thing to mention. Let me continue going through these other ones because we got caught up on localizations. Which one more thing I'll read about that from JRPG Party. I think the missing content was only in a special release of the console version where they had stuff related to a Japanese magazine context. Oh, that's separate because the scenes we're talking about were crude. It was kind of crude scenes that were removed, to my understanding. We'll talk about them in a bit, and we have a lot of time to go through this. But as always, keep in mind that these are very limited knowledge and not definitive port reviews. I'm doing my best to just give like a first impressions look at them. I can't tell you from wholehearted experience how these things compare. It is more of just taking a look at them day one and looking over what information I can before a full port review, which will happen eventually. There will be a point where I have played these games and I have gone over this and researched it correctly, and it'll be in a full port review, but that is not right now. So, improved DirectX game renderer, which, yeah, it uses DirectX. New rendering options, windowed mode, VSync, gamma correction, integer scale, anti-aliasing, and more. The anti-aliasing and anisotropic filter didn't seem to do anything. Those are built-in options to the DirectX thing. I couldn't tell what they actually did. They didn't really seem to do much of anything. They were completely unrelated to the texture filtering. They had nothing to do with that, so... So compared to the original 2003 PC port, we do have improved audio engine, in parentheses, restored missing environmental sounds and audio configuration, which is true. We now have adjustable volume sliders for the sound effects, which would have been good if I had kept that in mind, because those sound effects are too loud. Buying instead of playing on DuckStation for $10, and also to maybe hint to Capcom that we should get more of these. Because think of what else we're getting to, because this is preservation, and it's hard to get these companies to budge on it a bit, so it's important to send what we can, especially for $10, but ultimately that's up to you. With the PC version, with the point filter, I would totally play through that, though I do want to consider the other options and other quality considerations, such as when we saw that moon a second ago and it was missing underneath it. Yeah, we'll see here. Mistakes like that, those are things that I would really like them to patch. Or at the very least modded. For the sake of supporting, if you want to throw $10 at it, because it's still not about, like, they're not offering this as remastered. They're not trying to tell you that this is remastered. This is simply preserving the original PC port. So it depends where you feel on that. Because we also would get Breath of Fire 3, as I'm mentioning in chat, the Mega Man Legends games. Were they on PC? Because yeah, the GOG list is based on games that had old PC ports that don't boot up anymore on modern Windows, and getting them to stay booted up. First Legends was. Yeah, Resident Evil, actually, we did get Resident Evil 2 and 3 on GOG did come from this same Dreamlist thing that GOG had going. So we did get those, we did score those on PC from the same initiative that we're getting this from. Legends 2 is on PC, but only in Japan and Taiwan. There would still be hope for that. We'll see, but yeah, because the, I got interrupted in a battle here. But there's a ways to go in this scene. Yeah, this PC port, and even why it's in this state, is because the PC port for Breath of Fire 4 was only released in Europe. It was only released in European territories. It was not released in the US or outside of there. So there's a very limited audience and scale. Back to more improvements. So we're talking about the audio engine. Improved keyboard and mouse support, which, yeah, true. Improved warehouse and crane minigames. I would have to get to those to see what they mean by that. I'm really... I'm interested to what that would mean, but that, again, these are improvements from the original PC port, not to the PS1 version. Improved F9 exit screen, with exiting the game. Issue-free battle and combo system, which, as it mentions, all crashes have been fixed. Issue-free cutscene scripting. Issue-free task switching. Full support for modern controllers, DualSense, DualShock, Series 1, 360, Switch, Logic F Series, and many more. With optimal button bindings, vibration, hot plugging, and wireless mode. Actually, yeah, let me say it's nice to get a PC port that retained vibration and rumble. That was a nice surprise. Let me sync these up, because, yeah, I have these synced up here. Actually, I think I heard the opposite. I think PC had a larger market in Europe? Unless I'm misremembering. Because at the time of the video game crash, prior to 85, the video game crash was only in the US. It was only North America. And I believe at the time it was because PC was still doing fine elsewhere. I would have to refreshed on that. But yeah, the video game crash before 85 was North America only. Yeah, Dragnir mentions the same thing. Dragnir.net mentioning the same thing. Since the closure of the 3DS and Wii U eShops, Breath of Fire 1 and 2 can only be played on Switch by purchasing an online subscription. Breath of Fire 3 remains digitally purchasable only on PlayStation Vita. That's really funny. Breath of Fire 4's PS1 version remains digitally purchasable only on PS3 and Vita in Japan, Asia, North America. And then, to my understanding, we're not talking about the two other Breath of Fire games. So again, I am, for this stream and its information, I am getting hard carried by Dragnir.net. Heavily encourage checking the website out and supporting them. Especially with, because they even, on this page, on their website, they have a version differences, a very detailed version differences list. If you go on the website, you can see all the, like, version differences we're going to be talking about with video samples. Just really in-depth. Fantastic website. Put together by really good fans. They just released a translated interview today. As it's the 25th anniversary of Breath of Fire 4. So they just released a new interview, translated interview on the site. So anyway, talking about the setup here, we talked about all those improvements from the original one. We're talking system requirements, Windows 10, Windows 11, processor 2 gigahertz, memory 2 gigabytes, 100% compatible with DirectX 9.0C, and it's 600 megabytes. Friend just gifted me one, wondering what JRPGs I can get for it. You can still, like, buy things and add money through the Vita, right? I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah, actually, I would know, right? Because I had to do that a bit. I had to do that on more than one occasion in the last few years. I think it was after... Yeah, it was, because it was after the PS3, and how frustrating that can be. Yeah, so there is a DirectX wrapper options in the game's files for some settings that we mentioned earlier. The borderless window or full screen aspect ratio, scaling method, VSync, gamma, anisotropic filter, and anti-aliasing, which those two settings, I have no clue what they actually do. I can't notice any changes that they do. Because these feel like just the expected settings. Oh, it was C. Not Z, sorry. C. They have a list of recommended resolutions because those are the resolutions for 4x3 that maintain 4x3. Like I said, I was using 1440 by 1080, and that's my recommendation. Not recommending any other ones due to improper stretching. So we can be indifferent about the bilinear blur, right? Yes, borderless window is the default. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, borderless window, no problem. But at the very least, it is intended to be at 4x3, like you see here on screen. Let's see. Just a quick note, on the title screen, it says press enter, and you don't press, on controller, you don't press start, you press options on PS5, PS4, menu on Xbox, plus on Switch. Well, that's the correct one. Wait, that is the option. Why didn't that work? Whatever. That is the start button. Those are the start button equivalents. I don't know why it wasn't working. For me. So, they have a bunch of image examples of resolutions and aspect ratio stretches that aren't intended. Here, let me catch these up to the boss battle, get them in sync. Let me get them more in sync. There, that's my best attempt. Sorry, what I'm reading here is on the other monitor, so I had to catch up and look at chat on the left monitor. Reason no one else got the update. It's, oh, the official wrapper is getting updated eventually with an option to change the filter. I appreciate Lee letting us know. Yep, so, point sampling as we have for now, but hopefully in the future, and shortly after this stream, at a point, if anyone buys the game, they will see, the filter there. But yeah, we have our button options. Due to the age of the game, controller buttons are labeled as numbers. Configuring them is easy. Hover over the command you wish to change. And there's a diagram of all the buttons that swap and their equivalent default buttons. And save data. We're happy to report the save data. The original PC release of Breath of Fire 4 works just fine in the GOG release. That's funny. Not only that, but cloud saves are supported through GOG Galaxy. Which, if you didn't know, GOG is DRM free, but they do have a launcher that you can download your games through. And the best benefit of that launcher would just be it has cloud saves for GOG games. Otherwise, there's no problem with just downloading the installer from GOG's website and rolling with that. So that's on setup, and again, if you want the game to look how it does on the right with the point, with the sharp pixels and everything, it's the first link in the description of the video. Yeah, PS1 supported Rumble. This port supports Rumble. So the Rumble from the PS1 version transferred to PC just fine. Are SNES games good, as in, do they hold up well? I wouldn't know. I still have had recommendations to play them, right? I wouldn't know. PC version easier. In terms of difficulty, it's got to be exactly the same. Because again, it's not a remaster in any way, shape, or form. It is the 2003, and it's not being advertised as one either. It's completely the 2003 PC port, but functional and doesn't crash on modern Windows. Let's see. Well, GOG library is on Amazon Prime's free games. Huh. All the ones you have. It seems the map functionality on the PS1 version, select button to right analog click. From the PS1 version? I wanna pull that back up here and look. Also, sorry about the quiet audio because of the scene. Here, let me boost them to the next scene. Here. There we go. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything that's supposed to be mapped to L3 or R3. I am not sure. Wonky localization. We're not too surprised. For, 2. For games like that, let me see here. Damn, those are long SNES games. I'd have to, like, see samples of localization to see if I would mind too much. Oh yeah, we'll let it go from here. So, on Dragnir.net, moving on to that, there is a page that is version differences, and it's not just PC version differences. It is, PS1 version regional differences. With very good, clear examples of, what is it? For example, the deleted scenes. Few moments in Breath of Fire 4 that were edited and, in most instances, removed entirely from North America and Europe English languages. And if you want to see, I just say, if you want to see the samples of the removed scenes, they are on Dragnir.net's website. There was a remove spell. Oh, I read about this one. So in the Japanese version of Breath of Fire 4, Skias inherently is a skill called Identify. It's translated as Identify. As a party member, when Sias inherently has a skill called Identify when he joins the party. This skill scans an enemy, allowing you to view their name, type, HP, weakness, resistance, XP, Zenny, and treasure drops and description. In the English versions of the game, the skill cannot be learned by Sias and is not accessible without hacking the game. It is surmised the skill was cut due to enemy weaknesses and resistances being represented by single Japanese characters, whereas in English, the English characters required additional space the text was unable to fit into, leading to overflowing text. Nevertheless, you could still press the square button during battle to examine an enemy in a similar manner, however, enemy weaknesses are not identifiable this way. As far as PS1 goes, there is a mod to fix that. I would count on there being one there too. Yeah. Let me breathe. Is this the GOG version? Yes. The version on the right is the GOG version. With a third-party DX wrapper that enables point filter. If you buy it on GOG, you're not going to get it right now on GOG. It's going to be by linear filtering. That should more than likely not be the case in the future. So it'll depend on how you feel about it. Oh, the graphic, this art style aged greatly. This map design maybe infuriated me. You know what this reminded me of? A lot of this game reminds me of the Battle Network series. And also being a Capcom series that may not be surprising. I was looking and there is no staff crossover between Breath of Fire 4 and the Battle Network games. But they were exchanging notes. They had to be exchanging notes. The way they do their isometric level design, it's totally there. The way they do minigames, the way they animate the sprites and the keyframes of their run frames, the way some characters stand when they're idle. Some of them could just be, I mean, if it wasn't for the less vibrant color scheme compared to Battle Network, they could have blended in. Point filter would be the sharpness of pixels, we'll say. Bilinear filter blurs the sharpness of pixels to make them blend in and better fit the illusion that they should be giving. However, there are examples where it wasn't intended for the game to be presented in that way, and I think it creates unintended inaccuracies in how the game looks. But there are I will totally say, if you look at earlier in the stream, there are cases where the bilinear kind of functions, and you kind of see where they're going with it and why they did it. However, it should be an option, and it's going to be an option. Get the mod for the point filter. It is the first link in the description. There is a setup guide right there, and you go down to point filter. Get in the point filter. I am going to keep going on this page. How long have I been live? 51 minutes. I'm going to keep going on this page. So this is also interesting. In Japan, Dengeki PlayStation magazine collaborated with Breath of Fire 4 development team and solicited ideas from readers for potential weapons, armor, items, and accessories to be adapted for use in the game. Readers were encouraged to mail their ideas to the magazine by November 30th, 1999. Winners of this contest would have their ideas featured and their name added to the game's credits. Additionally, Dengeki PlayStation revealed a future demo disc included with their magazine would unlock an additional shop within the game. In January 14th, 2000 issue of Dengeki PlayStation, 4 winners were chosen, and their ideas were confirmed to be obtainable in-game through the unlockable Dengeki shop. In July 21, 2000, issue of Dengeki PlayStation included a demo disc allowing Japanese players to transfer a pre-patched save file that starts the player at the beginning of the game, but allows access to the in-game shop from Chapter 2 after exiting Mount Glom through the back exit. Within the Dengeki shop, the player can purchase several unique pieces of equipment from a Manila merchant and can procure a rusted sword. Additionally, another Manila runs a lottery where the player can purchase up to 10 lottery tickets and, I guess, a random set of 4 numbers. Let me see, we're going more lottery stuff. So, what's this relevant to? In the English release of Breath of Fire 4, while the Dengeki shop data remains on the disc, the location is inaccessible and the dialogue for this area remains untranslated. A fan-made mod restores this content, parentheses on PS1 version. The equipment can be purchased and the Dengeki shop can still be acquired and purchased through an unlockable shop in an abandoned village, marked as a question mark on the map, northwest of Czech, after reloading a completed game save file upon finishing the game. So another one that's a mod, and hopefully the mod gets brought over to the PC version. But yeah, like the fact that they did it in the first place, though, that's a really cool feature. I like that they did that. So CD-ROM variants. So as in Europe, Jesus, there's like 5 releases of this PC version. Specifically Europe, Otaku PC Value Series, which is Japan. There's 2 Japanese. So there's Europe, there was 2 that were in Japan, there was Asia, and there was China for this PC release. And again, because I am going word for word, this is on Dragnir.net. Again, they are heavily carrying this whole stream with information. I heavily recommend checking them out. Title screens, we did see in the beginning, it uses even in the English, it has the Japanese title screen. And then we go to aspect ratios, which we've already covered plenty of. The bilinear filtering, which, yes, the default PC version does have the bilinear filter, so that is a carryover from just the original PC version. One of the big major visual changes between what we've been seeing on screen is the lack of dithering. The PS1 version has dithering you can't really get rid of. The PC version does not have to worry about dither, and also just the higher native resolution. As we see, there's very little issue with polygons and everything that's 3D. It's all nice and sharp, which I got to applaud. It doesn't look... I mean, the reason it doesn't look that jarring is because it doesn't have the perspective warping issues you would normally get if you, like, upscaled the PS1 version. PC version, no, there's no new censorship. It's the same as what was in the PS1 censorship. And you would consider so. Which, I actually, yeah, I still haven't seen if that is the case if you play the Japanese localization enabled. I don't know. Either way, no, there's nothing new adjusted. It is straight the 2003 PC version. It's not a remaster, it's not touted as one. Renders a higher resolution, less jagged edges. There are clipping issues, there can be, with geometry, yep. Some, like, visual, and on the website, there are very specific examples of all of these, points about them. It's very nice. Here, go to the desert now. Apparently I left on the right side. I don't know why I did that. What am I going to do? Oh, I'm making a save. Okay. We can tell the different font as well. And different sound effect with for confirmation. And the music comparison. The PlayStation version of the background music employs a reverb effect to make it sound fuller. The PC version of the music has a reverb effect removed, resulting in a flatter sound, especially with brass instruments. And we listen to that sample, we can hear with how this is. Yeah, it's missing that reverb. Otherwise, it sounds correct. It is just, again, we'll turn it up and see. It is just missing the reverb. This is the PC version, which again, the sound effects are loud. I didn't turn them down. But you can turn them down. That's like the major difference in music. Recognize modern controllers and adjust UI elements for it. It recognizes modern controllers and supports hot plugging. You can just plug anyone, but it does not change the UI elements right now. Now, nothing with the UI elements changes. You'll still see the keyboard letters and numbers. Incorrect looping. In the PlayStation version of the game, background music loops properly. In the PC version, when a track reaches its end, the music abruptly restarts from the beginning without a proper seamless loop. In my short testing, I didn't run into that because I was not playing enough to run into that. Maybe in a longer boss fight, I would run into that. I don't really remember running into that. So, yeah, it was, again, this is for preservation's sake, so we can hope that in the future, the music looping is corrected, the reverb is put back in on the music, maybe. The sound effect is already taken care of because there's a slider for it. Those will be the major things. I don't know about if they can do anything about the button icons, because the game's not programmed in the first place to change button icons outside of what's there. So you would need a mod that basically replaces the images of the button numbers. Going from there. But then that would still not work depending on your custom setup if you change your controls from the default. I don't know how that would be handled. I would like it to be handled. Missing boss victory themes. Breath of Fire 4 has 2 victory theme melodies that play depending on which continent you're battling in. In PlayStation version, upon defeating a boss, alternative, more triumphant... In the PlayStation version, upon defeating a boss, alternative, more triumphant sounding versions of these 2 victory themes play. These versions are absent in the PC release, the normal victory themes playing instead. Removed, let me take a breath here. I have now breathed. So, removed and edited cutscenes. The deleted scenes from the North American and European PlayStation version remain removed in the English PC release. Deleted scene 4 has been confirmed as remaining in the Japanese PC release. Huh. Which, there are 4 scenes total? There are 4 scenes total. And that 4th one was, remains. currently unknown whether all these scenes are made in the Oh, okay, so they don't know if it's still in the PC version. It's just confirmed the fourth one is, and whether they exist in the traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese versions. If you happen to know this information, you can provide a source. So they're asking that on Dragnir. Take a breath of fire, yeah. So then, at least for now, confirmed, the fourth scene is still there, and it's unknown if the others were removed or still present. If one of the scenes is, I could believe that the others are still there. But to encourage the kind of, just encourage this attitude with the PS1 version DuckStation with those filters and widescreen. I'm a fan of vanilla looks, real hardware and what you can get on the left, but if DuckStation's your thing, then that's your thing. But yeah, at the very least, buying is supporting the future endeavors to get more PC games preserved. This is a preservation effort that we've got going on, more than anything. Remove skills, which we talked about with Identify. Like the North American and European PS1 versions, Sias's Identify skill is not available in the English PC version. It's currently unknown whether this skill remains in the Japanese PC version. And they are asking for information if anyone has it. The Dengeki shop was removed from the Japanese PC release of Breath of Fire 4. It is not present in any other PC version. Which, in general, there is little knowledge of these versions because they're limited accessibility in the past. There are moments where the UI looks odd in the PC version, like Scorpion at the top there, the inconsistent line weight on the outline. Though, I mean, that's also against how it looks on the left, so, yeah, you know. Pick your poison. At least, like, the text, like, on the battle UI, that looks fine. That looks fine, yeah. Let's see. Content-wise, the PC GOG re-release of Breath of Fire 4 is largely the same as the English and Japanese PC CD-ROM version shown above, albeit with some upgrades and optimizations, like we were talking about. So GOG has the Japanese version up as well. Oh good, they go into details. Man, this website's incredible, Dragnir.net. Jesus Christ, this is great. So two more things to talk about. Here are the bug fixes, the two bug fixes. In the original PC CD-ROM version, the crane minigame in the wharf area, north of Sinesta, had a bug that made it impossible to play the minigame a second time during the same session. Specifically, the minigame did not reset its initial state correctly. Likewise, the warehouse minigame at the wharf was incorrectly resetting its initial state after a completed battle, thus resetting the game points earned. Both bugs are fixed in the GOG re-release. And then environment sounds. GOG touts an improved audio engine, citing a restoration of missing environmental sounds and audio configuration. Specifically, there was a bug in the PC CD-ROM version of the game where environment sounds would stop playing, such as the sound of a river and forest locations, after finishing a battle. This was fixed in the GOG re-release. And also, there's volume sliders for sound effect and music, which is nice. But yeah, I would now that I don't have to worry about reading all that, yeah, I sounded more anti-emulation than I would like to, because if I wasn't doing what I was doing, like on YouTube, I would still be using emulators. DuckStation's fantastic. So if it is how you play, that's all the power to you. Steam still lists Breath of 4 soundtrack for sale. No game, though. That's funny that the soundtrack's there, though. The website name, it's a link in the description. Dragnir.net. It's there's two links to it in the description. Again, they have hard carried this stream with information. And it is thanks to them that on a stream 2 days after the release, I could have so much information to tell you. Yeah, so on the right side, I was, in this stupid shoveling minigame, it took a while on the right side because I was pulling up prior footage of when I dug it up correctly and trying to find where I was digging it. So now I'm going to sync these back up to after the minigame. There we go. Why had they blur over? Well, they didn't add it. That's just how it was in the original PC release in 2003. It was a choice to not make it look like how it looks on the right. So the hope there is that there will be an update to the GOG release, and I believe we had. It seemed like they were made aware of it. GOG has been made aware of the point filtering consideration. So certainly by even like the end of the week, that could change. But yeah, otherwise you have to use a third-party DX wrapper to get the point filter options. And there are, we can see it before, there are some examples where the bilinear kind of works. But I think it has too many distracting artifacts for me to enjoy playing it. Dragonair was only created a year ago too. It's great to see how many people, how much they've archived on the site. Yeah, it's a, that's an incredible website. I gotta praise websites that exist like that, like, oh, what is it with Mega Man? I feel bad as they helped me on, working on, the Battle Network videos. And that the effort they have done over there should be praised too. I thought it would be easier to find, I'm gonna be real. I wouldn't know about Beth versions for Breath of Fire 1 and 2. Mega Man, well, Mega Man homepage, actually, that's worth a mention too. I remember Mega Man homepage from, oh Jesus, so long ago. Hold on, I need to turn the AC on. If you hear Rita, she's just rubbing her back on the ground, having a volley of a time. Underestimate fan efforts for sure, and it's fantastic to see. Oh, Rockman Corner is a big one too. And Proto Dude's efforts for that. Rockman EXE Zone. I literally had to go off searching Midnight W's name. As he was a huge help with the Battle Network video. Like the video would not have been of any substantial quality without his support, and also how incredible the website is for how much information is documented on Rockman EXE Zone. Incredible website for the information they have. And they have a wiki of information as well. It's I'd consider very reliable. I would like to find, because it's when I was talking, it was mostly with Midnight about it, with regarding to the video. Griga Master. You have Griga Master and Midnight, huge pillars in preserving and archiving information on the Battle Network games. And to that end, also, the Cutting Room Floor is a massively, valuable website in preserving information. And I get hard carried by any information put on the Cutting Room Floor as well. This game has a native PC version, yeah, back in 2003, in Europe and Asia only. So this GOG release is making it compatible on modern hardware. Modern Windows. Yeah, so it's I get hard carried in general by these websites, especially when I try to branch out to so many other games. I really like that. How dare you? Yeah, it was like that in both versions. It's cool to see that. I'm gonna rewind these a bit because they're coming up on the end of the videos, because this is where I'd stop recording up to. Go back here a bit. I have a nice CRT, yeah. I have the CRT I have was what is it? It has a sentimental value as it was one my dad kept in his office. So I'll give you the example of my dad was a college professor. So this is the kind of CRT TV that gets wheeled in when the teacher or professor is going to play a video for class. I guess they kind of don't do that anymore. So depending on how old you are, that probably doesn't make sense. Anyway, when he passed, I got to keep that it's a really nice CRT. It's not of any important brand, Emerson, but it looks really damn good. So yeah, I try to keep splitters, so I always have trying to have a signal that always goes to that and also to the RetroTink, depending on the case scenario of what I want to see. And it's a nice size too. It's not too large. It's pretty, I mean, it's heavy as hell, but it's not too massive. Pretty ideal size. Nothing that won't fit in the room without being taking up too much space. Really important. So it's flat. It is a flat one. No good for long term. It fades over time. We'll see. So far it's been good. And that was... Oh hell, I don't like thinking about it, but it's been 10 years now. It's been almost 10 years since he passed away. And how long I've had this TV for, subsequently. But yeah, so it holds sentimental value, so it's not going anywhere. I also got like a nice Roku, like an old Roku that does composite output hooked up to it. That was a nice idea. But yeah, so I keep that on hand whenever if I'm up for it. Though most of my time playing games right now is for video purposes or for review purposes at some point. So anyway, that's that on that. I think we're good. We covered about everything. You buy a lead ball there from that frog. Trying to think if there's anything else in general. No, I'm not Onion. I am now working on writing the script for Dragon Quest III review. So I'm doing my preliminary research and writing that script up and getting that ready. I have smaller video ideas, but I'm kind of overwhelming myself, so I need to go one day at a time. I think, though, in general, I would still say, I'm not in the, position I was in 5 years ago, 6 years ago when I started the channel, so I can't physically replicate the output of videos I have been able to do up to, when my sleep apnea was bad. So from like 2 years ago where I was able to get videos out monthly, I, for at the moment, still cannot physically do that. But we're gonna keep it up from here. Hoping really, thank you, Maximus. Hoping releases like this bring more people to GOG's dream list to help push more. Oh yeah, let's look at that list. I always opt for GOG over Steam whenever it's an option to own a game. Right, because it's DRM free over at GOG, which is another reason to support. Let me see what else is on the dream list here. More things people would be interested in. So your vote made it happen. Breath of Fire 4. Let me see. There's more modern games on this list than I thought there'd be. Digimon World's on here. Silent Hill 1 and 2. Which, it has to be games that have had PC ports. So color me surprised that those had them. A lot of Sid Meier's. Odd listings in the dream section for, like, Eternal Darkness of all things. Yes, I have had a lot of success with CPAP now, yeah. It wasn't at first. It wasn't at first because it was, the air was not set, the climate setting was not correct. So I was getting air, but I was getting cold air, and that sucked. Once I realized that and fixed that, it was smooth sailing. 1 does, but 2 and 3. Yeah, the list on the website is not immediately as organized as I was thinking it was, or expecting. Emerson was good TV even in the 80s. I certainly am a fan of it. Can I filter it by JRPG? I can filter by RPG. I don't think Parasite Eve had a PC port. No. So the idea, the idea of the GOG Dream List is that it should, to my understanding, it's games that have old PC ports is what they're working on. They're not working on porting new games that never had them before. It's preserving, the effort is to preserve old PC ports that are no longer compatible or functional. And putting the, making them available to where you can purchase them, you can hit install and you can hit play and it'll work on your modern system. So no, I don't think, that's the frustrating thing here, is all these Square games are on here, and I'm pretty sure they should not be. So we were talking about Mega Man Legends, though. Legend of Dragoon? There's no way. Chrono Trigger's already on PC. I don't know what to tell him. I was, well, even still, like we talked about this, the Dream List has resulted in Breath of Fire 4 here, it's resulted in Resident Evil 2 and 3, and it's more importantly, a preservation effort over a remaster effort. But yeah, I think we gone on enough about it. I think we got everything cleared out. So, thanks everyone for tuning in. I'm glad the stream was only an hour and 20 minutes. I think it was pretty packed with information. Metal Gear Solid PC port was released a while back. It is on there, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Yep, and Metal Gear Solid 1 has a PC port. That's a good example. Thanks everyone for tuning in. I'll be back for the next shadow drop of some JRPG. We'll see when that is, or the next release. We talked about those at the end of last stream, and I don't remember them. But there will be more streams. Outside of streams, though, next port reviews, Dragon Quest III, and I'm starting on that. And then some smaller videos, and also mod projects to look at. I should have said this at the beginning of the stream. I forgot about it. I was going to say if there is anyone who specializes in research in these areas of the games I cover, if they are deeply involved in the research for them and they want to reach out and have contact, please, by all means, do. Absolutely get in contact for any of the games I have streamed before. I would appreciate being in contact so I could have like proper peer review of the information I'm gonna put out there, you know? But I would really like that to be the people that are already researched in the games and topics. Because I have had information of people put it, like, wrong information in the comments of my videos, but they say those wrong things really confidently, and it's really weird. And then sometimes I get information like that because people on GameFAQs back in the day just like to lie. So I waste like a week of time fact-checking someone who was just wrong on GameFAQs. But if anyone is of a proper position of research with these games, for sure I would love to be in contact and in consulting in peer review. But yeah, all right, that's about it. So thanks everyone, and I'll see you all next time. Until the next time, until the next video or next stream, thank you all for the continued support.